Hello, friends. Welcome to Tandavex. Whenever people compare India's Tejas and Pakistan's JF-17, the focus is almost always on specifications, speed, range, radar type, missile load, but hardly anyone talks about what these programs actually gave their countries. No one discusses the technological advancements, the manufacturing ecosystems, the strategic autonomy, the jobs created, and the long-term effect of the Tejas program in enabling India to design and build even more advanced fighter jets in the future. In this video, we are going to take a deep look at those critical aspects, how Tejas helped India build an entire aircraft design and production ecosystem, what kind of technological independence it provided for future programs like Tejas Mk1A, Orca, TED-BF, AMCA, and Gatak UAV, how it boosted domestic R&D, private sector involvement, and job creation in India, and finally how Pakistan's JF-17 program, despite being heavily promoted as an indigenous success, offered little in terms of real technological self-reliance. This is not just a comparison of two jets, it's a comparison of two national strategies, two paths toward military modernization, and two very different futures for India and Pakistan's aerospace industries. Cost and job impact analysis. Tejas Mk1A versus JF-17. Now let's dig deeper into one of the most important but often ignored aspects of fighter programs, the economic impact and job creation potential. It's not just about buying planes, it's about what those planes do for the country's economy, technology, and future independence. Tejas Mk1A, investment in India's aerospace future. India's Tejas program is much more than giving the IAF a modern 4.5 generation fighter. It is a nation-building project, creating an entire aerospace ecosystem that will serve India for decades. IAF fleet plan: 40 Tejas Mk1 fighters already in service, 83 Tejas Mk1A fighters ordered in 2021, 97 additional Mk1A fighters approved in August 2025. This will give India a fleet of 220 Tejas fighters, forming the backbone of the IAF's light fighter force. Indigenization levels: Mk1, 60% indigenous content. First 83-1A, 70% indigenous content. Next 97-1A, 75% indigenous content, thanks to systems like autonomy radar, Indian EW suite, mission computer, and flight control software. Total program cost for all 220 Tejas fighters, the cost is roughly $9.24 billion. Domestic retention. Because of the high and growing indigenization, USD $6.5 billion, 70.4%, stays inside India, powering HAL, DRDO, 8A, Bell, and hundreds of private aerospace companies and MSMEs. This means most of the money builds India's industry instead of leaving the country. Why Tejas costs more, and why that's a good thing. Critics often say Tejas is expensive, but that extra cost comes from advanced composite materials, lighter, stealthier, lower maintenance, world-class engine, GEF 404 with proven reliability, rigorous international certification and testing standards, NATO IF equivalent, indigenous systems like autonomy EW suite, and mission computer. In short, Tejas is a world-class fighter built to last decades, not a budget compromise. JF-17, minimal domestic gains and questionable reliability. Now compare this with Pakistan's JF-17 program. Program size. Pakistan currently operates around 150 JF-17s and aims for a total of around 220 aircraft, similar to India's Tejas fleet size. Indigenization. JF-17 is a joint venture with China, with only 15 to 20% indigenous content in Pakistan. Airframe is built in China. Radar and avionics are Chinese. Engine is Russian, Klimov RD-93. Program cost. For 220 JF-17s, the total program cost is about USD $5.5 billion. Domestic retention only USD $0.82 to $1.1 billion stays in Pakistan, 15 to 20%, while over USD $4.4 billion flows out to China and Russia. Pakistan gets some assembly line experience, but does not gain the deep technologies, radar design, flight control software, EW suites, engine tech, that are needed to build next-generation fighters. Reliability concerns with JF-17. Another key difference is trust in the platform. JF-17 depends heavily on Chinese systems, which are seen as lower quality compared to Western or Indian-developed tech. Myanmar, one of the few export customers, reportedly grounded its entire JF-17 fleet due to recurring problems, radar failures, engine issues, and even airframe cracks. This makes JF-17 look more like a stopgap solution rather than a long-term backbone fighter. Jobs and economic impact. Because Tejas keeps most of the program money inside India, it creates massive employment benefits. Tejas jobs created 60,700 direct jobs, 20,300 DRDO, ADA, Bell, private assembly. Indirect jobs, 24,300, supply chain, composites, forging, software, tooling. Induced jobs, 15,200, services supported by worker spending. JF-17 jobs created, 8,200 to 11,000. With most components imported, job creation is limited mainly to final assembly and maintenance. How these numbers were calculated. We use standard aerospace industry job multipliers. For every USD 1 billion spent on indigenous aerospace projects, around 6,500 to 7,000 direct jobs are created, which lead to another 1.2 to 1.3 indirect and induced jobs in supply chains and services. Since Tejas keeps 70.4% of its USD 9.24 billion cost inside India, the numbers scale to roughly 60,000 plus total jobs. For JF-17, with only 15 to 20% of the money staying in Pakistan, the total job impact is just a fraction of that. Strategic and economic implications. This is where Tejas delivers its biggest impact. India gains deep industrial capability, R&D skills, and a skilled workforce, can now design Tejas Mk1A, Orca, TED-BF, AMCA, and UAVs like Gatak, developed Astra air-to-air missiles, Rudram anti-radiation missiles, S-Solar precision weapons, continued development of the Kaveri engine hot core. Knowledge from Kaveri has already created the dry Kaveri for Gatak UCAV and marine gas turbines. Pakistan gains limited assembly capability, but remains dependent on China for upgrades in core technologies. Long-term payoff. Yes, the Tejas program faced delays, but those delays built a fighter design capability within India, a certification and testing ecosystem, wind tunnels, simulation labs, test beds, a private aerospace supply chain that now feeds into missiles, radars, UAVs, and future fighters. India's clean approach to technology development. Unlike some nations that depend on reverse engineering or technology theft, India has built its aerospace sector step by step, transparently, and in partnership with trusted global players. This is why countries like the USA, France, Russia, Germany, and Israel are willing to work with India. They see India as a trusted partner. China, on the other hand, has faced accusations of IP theft and reverse engineering, which has made many Western nations, even Russia, reluctant to share advanced technology with Beijing. India's approach may be slower, but it creates genuine sovereign capability that lasts for generations. Bottom line aspect, Tejas Mk1A program, JF-17 program. Total cost, USD 9.24 US 5.5 B. Domestic retention, USD 6.54%, USD 0.82 to 11 bin. Jobs created, boss 60,000 plus, 8,000, 11,000. Tech gain high, full ecosystem, low mainly assembly, rely, proven systems. Questionable, Myanmar grounded fleet, future capability. Enables IMPA-2, Orca, AMBF UAVs. Limited, reliant on imports. How conclusion? Tejas is not just a fighter program. It is an industrial revolution for Indian aerospace. It creates tens of thousands of jobs, keeps billions inside the Indian economy, and builds the knowledge and infrastructure to design future fighters and UCAVs. JF-17, while useful as an affordable multi-role fighter, remains mostly an imported Chinese design with local assembly. It gives Pakistan limited technology transfer, limited job creation, and questionable long-term reliability. This is why Tejas, despite its higher upfront cost, is actually the better investment for the nation's economy, security, and future technology base. So friends, that was today's deep analysis on defense and geopolitics. If you like this kind of content, where we go beyond the headlines and dig deep into the technology, strategy, and long-term impact, then make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Your support helps us bring you even more well-researched content. See you in the next analysis.